Hi, welcome back channel, TrainStation2. Alright, get second in this first competition of the center's toy workshop. Of course, the first is a gem spender, there's no way you can fight that. Alright, started off not too bad, the midpoint of this ranking chart, starting late. And these are the jobs that we are getting for the first round. As usual, for every competition now, I realize you got to clear the two of the jobs each before release the next sets of jobs that have probably maximum of 15 or 10 ceiling. So the first three sets of jobs normally have a very low ceiling of just 2. So you got to complete these 2, otherwise you will not be able to unlock a new region. So that is something new that have been observed, very different from how we used to play in other event competitions. So as of now, this would basically be putting you behind if you do not focus on completing them as soon as possible. So the other thing you're going to notice is whether this 99% strategy still apply at this current juncture. My observation seems to suggest that if it moves beyond 100%, things may be tougher, but nonetheless you may be getting more in terms of the EP. So I'll urge you to complete as soon as possible. Of course, if there's a reversal in that condition, I'll let you know once I reach nearer. Alright, so very quickly we'll enter into the event map. As of this juncture, we're just trying to clear up some space before we can start to maneuver. The fact that we're collecting a lot of these items in preparation, especially wood, and of course hopefully you have saw my previous video, you need a lot of those copper. That is something that you could make sure you have it. Alright, so now I'm unlocking the event. It's just a room. By now you should already know. This toy workshop is just basically a room. This will be the map of the whole event. You collect raw materials, or you can send delivered items or in this map itself. So it's not out of this room. It's not unlike previous events whereby you have seen very huge map, but beyond the size of a room, of course. Alright, so now let's move on. We have released some products of the trains already. We'll free up 3 trains, but let's see how much more we're going to do here to release even more of those items. So limited warehouse space is bad enough, coupled with the disastrous union play that have taken up probably easy 2,000 to 3,000 space. This is not too good. There's no separate warehouse. That's the purpose of Pixar, to make sure you spend real money to get gems to increase your warehouse. So don't fall for that trick. It doesn't matter if you don't get well in terms of ranking, just don't pay a single cent. Alright, so now in terms of this union play, you can put it aside once this major event starts, like this Christmas event, to call it in short instead of a Santa's toy workshop. Let's just call it a Santa or the Christmas event. Then you should put it aside in terms of union play. If you do not have those items, never mind. You can do it after the event or during the 1-day break after you're prepared enough for the second competition. In terms of the EP head start, you can start preparing that already after the first competition, i.e. right now, all the way. Do not collect those finished delivered items. You basically, what you do is you deliver all the items ready to collect the EP, and only collect them during the start of the next competition, i.e. the second one. That is giving you the EP head start. And of course, hopefully you also delay in playing at least 10 hours to 12 hours. Do not touch the game. Do not open it up. Once you open it up, even though you do not enter into the competition page, you are already registered into the second competition. So starting late means you do not touch the game at all for 10 to 12 hours once the competition starts. So for example, we will have a day to prepare until you can see the last couple of minutes or hour, or maybe an hour before you close the game, and you don't touch it again until 10 hours later. So that's what I meant. Alright, so I'm going to share with you, of course, every day there'll be a surprise, some parts, some coins and whatnot. Okay, so we'll come to that at the end of the video to share with you the 3 surprises so far we've collected. So these are the event items. As usual, you need a lot of those parts to make sure you collect lots of them right now, all the way to the start of the second competition. Keep on manufacturing all this, put them in the warehouse, clear off your warehouse of the non-event items, and then pack all this in. And meanwhile, if you could spend some time to get your union jobs done, go ahead, because if you're already prepared for the second competition, this is the time to play union play. Otherwise, forget about that if you don't have the item. So that will also release some of the warehouse spaces. If you could avoid making more or exchanging more with the trade-in center for the union items, because that will take up your precious warehouse space that is really required. I have already collected a lot of these union items, so I'm not going to exchange for more unless necessary. Most of the time I just try to drain out all the reserves that I have, so it create more warehouse space. Alright, so this is the way to go. You need to complete the 2/2 jobs in order to proceed further. So far, that will be the first set. Hopefully you do that simultaneously, and you can clear all 3 at the same time. Would that work for the next set? Probably, I would guess. So just make sure, if you could, simultaneously clear those jobs so that you can complete all 3 at the same time, rather than you're left with one and you can't do anything. I think that would be extremely painful. So make sure you do that. And yeah, about warehouse space, yeah, that is something I really forgot. You use the 5 building technique. If you wish to, it still work, but for me, I'm just too lazy to do it anymore. I've already placed out all my buildings, and I'm not going to keep them in and take it out the only 5 buildings right now. So the other thing you're going to work on is the train capacity. Make sure you have an 80 capacity event train. That helps a lot. And your event factory, if you could afford it, which I managed just to scrape through, 110 gems is all I have. Actually, in fact, 112, so I left with 2 gems. Splurge it on the expansion of the event factory for the major event like this. The first expansion will be 30 gems, the second expansion will be 80 gems. So in total, 110 gems. You're getting now 4 slots. That helps a lot, and that is also one key in terms of winning competition. Train capacity, warehouse spacing, factory, i.e. the event factory production slot. If you ask me, should you be making sure you increase the non-event factory first? By all means, alright? So I did expanded all my non-event factories already, because that's critical, because events comes every time. But your factory, if you do not upgrade them fully, you will not have that additional production capacity, and most important of all, you will not have the additional space, which I treat as interim warehousing. I always focus to explain a bit more in terms of interim warehousing. The fact that we have very tiny warehouses, your input and output tray acts as your additional warehousing. So make sure you put in all the items you could. Once you already produce, then all laid out in the output tray are all those that it takes a long while to do, like 1 hour or 1.5 hours or so. Whatever you put into the input tray, they will store, because production is restored, and you just store the raw materials that you can use to convert. So I always use the example of a chair that you get back to your timber and nail. Alright, so that if you cancel the job, you get back these 2 materials. So that is your additional warehousing. Okay, so about this SP, forget about this. If you are capable of fulfilling the top 5, you get on to the next league. We are already in bronze 2. That's our second column in the chart itself. So if you progress, you go to the 3rd, or bronze 3. Otherwise, if you fall to the bottom ranks, you'll be demoted. If you're in between, you'll be just carry on with the current bronze 2. So that's how it works out. We are entering to the second part of this winter season. It could be maybe 6 days or so. Then you'll change to the third part, and that ends the winter season. We'll move on to the next season, and that's how it works out. Alright, so now let's see the results of this first competition. Not many people are playing, strangely, but I'm happy with that result of 250 coins. If I manage to collect and win another second place for 3 more times, I would have saved 1000 event coins already. Alright, just to share a bit more in the rewards, and thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Have a good rest. Goodbye.